Welcome, Virgo. This is your weekly focus for February the 12th through to the 18th, 2024. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Let's turn right to the cards and see what they have in store for us. Okay, our underlining energy is the Sun card. Look at this. We are vibrant. We are alive. We are experiencing the now. We are seeing the potential of our path going forward. Our energy, this is definitely where our energy is raised. Our aura is brighter. Our vibration is stronger, and our light very strong. And this is a time when we get those aha moments, those epiphanies. We see where we can go forward. We see what we can step into. We may even see what is tripping us up. But we are in new moon energy, so I'm going to look forward rather than even in the here and now or yesterday. This is about going forward with a light, with a surety, with knowing that you've got this. Yeah. Knowing you're enough. Knowing that you've learned enough, that you've mastered enough, that you've honed your talents enough, your abilities to go forward in a strength that you want to go forward into. Now we have the Eight of Cups as our first card. Many times when we go forward in our path, we do have to leave things behind that we do cherish, that we do like, that we appreciate in our lives. And I'm seeing this card more and more like we are just switching priorities. Okay, so, work may have been a priority number 4 on our list, but now we want to go after that promotion or that raise. We might move it up to a 2 or a 1, which means something needs to move down on the priority list. We need to look at ways of generating time or energy or resources in a new way, perhaps. Maybe the old way just isn't working for us. Maybe we enjoyed going through the drive-thru, grabbing our coffee or breakfast in the morning, then lunch, and then maybe even a snack on the way home before supper, or maybe a drink on our breaks. And we're spending like $20, $25 every day when we could be filling the thermos at home, making our own meals for about $5 a day, and generating that source of revenue in order to put it where it counts, where we need it to be. And that doesn't mean things just leave our lives. But we do maybe change our relationship with that part of our life. It's like the young adult leaving home for the first time, filled with anticipation and fear, all mingled up into one. We want to step into our independence, our freedom. We want to be the master of our own world. But so we don't leave home and then we never come back to it. But home does change in what it means to us, what it gives us, how it supports us. It could be people that we need to separate from in order to go forward in other ventures, to free up that time or that energy. We have the Four of Cups. This is about gratitude. This is about appreciating what you already have to work with in order for more goodness to come into your life. If you ever thought of the parent and wanting to please the child, as every parent does, they want to see that big smile on their face, their twinkle in their eye as they're overjoyed. And so when the child goes to the parent and asks for something, the parent complies. And then a couple of days later, the parent notices that that very thing that they said they would treasure is laying in the corner broken. Now, how responsive do you think the parent is going to be the next time the child shows up and says, I want this, I need that? The parent will hesitate, even though they want to give them what they're asking for. They're not even appreciating what they already have. So no, I think I'll hold back on that for a little while before I give it to the child. And so the universe is very much like that. And when we start to appreciate the things that we already have in our life to work with, to love, to feel compassion for, be appreciative of the birds that are flying overhead and the tree that grows so strong and mighty, the flower that's coming through the sidewalk crack. Be grateful for that your fridge is running and there's gas in the gas tank and there's food on the table and there's a roof over your head. Be full of gratitude that you have each and every day as a new day to work with, to design your forward motion, to step into new possibilities and adventures. It's only then that the greatness comes into our life. So, and tapping into our wisdom as well is a very important part here. Knowing what matters, knowing what we need to be appreciative of, knowing what has value in our life. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is very much about you ready to elevate to a new path. That you want to go forward in a certain way. This is a highly spiritual card. This is talking to God, your angels, your guides, your higher self, of how you want to go forward. This is about new beginnings. This is about you've done everything that you can on this path. It's time to go to an elevated path. It's time to start a new beginning. And, you know, it's headed towards maybe work and career, but it could also be growing your spirituality. Okay, and there are small successes just laying in wait for you. Maybe even large successes. So I'm kind of getting the sense of how you are seeing the world, how you see yourself within the world, how you go about every day. Like I almost get like this is more of like your mundane day in, day out routines, experiences, and maybe you are changing it in some, I hear catalytic way, but in some diameter, in some direction. Yeah, it's like, you know, how you wake up, when you wake up, while you wake up, and what you do when you wake up may all change. And maybe that's your afternoon structure, your evening structure. It looks like we're bringing in different things that we want to make habits in our life and eventually turn into second nature. We want to bring in the goodness and utilize it at all times for ourselves here. Let's go to work and career. We have Temperance. Temperance is about balance. Temperance is honing our skills, our talents, our abilities. It's kind of like, you know, almost like this recipe for success, I would almost say here. Usually temperance is an angel standing with one foot in the water and one foot on land, mixing a concoction that is supposed to be the perfect recipe for our true balance, for our, you know, that our emotion and our intellect are cemented as one. That we're not working too much on the emotion, on our feelings, pushing us into the decisions we're making, but we're not being very, you know, overly logical and strict to the rules and the true, tried and true and the traditional. We're kind of blending those things together, weaving those things together to make the perfect design in the pattern of life for ourselves. Let's get more clarification on that. So with Temperance being here, we're definitely looking at certain skills that we have and strengthening them in some way, getting our ducks in a row perhaps. Now, organizing, I kind of get organizing the routine, but maybe that has to do with work as well. Maybe you're changing shifts or you're changing jobs and changing hours in some way. Things are shifting and changing around you, and you need to find the harmony, the balance within that structure, within perhaps that miniature chaos that might be happening. You know, it's almost like you work and you give a part of yourself. You are of service, but you also want the true reward back. You want a very balance. Okay. We have the Eight of Autumn. Do more research before proceeding. Education in the form of seminars, going back to school, apprenticeships, excellence, craftsmanships, and long-term projects. So we're seeing how we can bring things into balance. Maybe part of it is honing an ability, honing a skill, growing that talent, growing that ability, signing up for a class, a workshop, a refresher course, or maybe taking something brand new to turn you into a whole new path. excellent craftsmanship and long-term projects. So it's not just about doing, it's about the quality of your doing. Okay, you might be able to say figure out a way to put out 100 shorts really fast, but do they have context? Do they have something that's entertaining, or is it just really a cookie cutter of, it's like those ones that give you those facts while you're watching stupid things in the background that don't even match what they're talking about. They're just cookie cutter ones, right? So look at that in your life where you're just trying to, do the bare minimum and it looks good enough, so let's move on. And there's something about quality here. Growing the quality, expressing the quality, I think would be more apt to say, we can put so much of ourselves into it. We can put ownership on it in some way that's greater than we're doing. We can make it ours. We can make it mine. Kind of energy is around this. Let's get one more card, shall we? And we've got the Two of Winter, which is an indecision is holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others. Feeling trapped between the intellectual and the emotional. And so once again, we get that intellectual and emotional and coming together and weaving it together. And this card is feeling trapped between the intellect and the emotional. So the Two of Winter is upon us here. So indecision is holding you back. Where do you pull back? You're not sure of yourself. You're not sure of your footing. You don't have all your ducks in a row. Something's off. There's something to the organization. Something's missing. Something needs to be deleted. Something needs to be diversified a bit more. A better sense of order needs to come in. Hopefully, this is clear as mud for me, so hopefully it's making some sense to you. Feeling trapped between the intellectual and the emotional. And, for the Temperance card I got, the angel sitting there mixing it together. Emotional and logic, right? And bringing it together and weaving it together. So that's a very important part of this, a balanced approach. I would have to say a balanced approach. We don't want to be fast here. We want to think things through. It's not procrastination so much as allowing the indecision to become decisive. It's about going within. It's about understanding what truly makes us happy. Maybe there's a job and it pays a lot more, but in no way does it meet, anything that you really remotely want to do over and over again or consistently. It's not your cup of tea. You'd like to do something different. You feel your talents could be utilized in a better way, but they're not paying as much. But wow, would I ever get the fulfillment of being able to create that every day or do that every day or be a part of that experience every day? So we're kind of weighing a little bit of the emotional, where would I be happiest, to a little bit of the logical, what makes the best financial sense for me, or maybe it's time. Okay, maybe it's whatever it might be for you. But I think there's some thinking going on here before we're looking to go forward in a path. We're honing that skill. We're going back to school perhaps. We're getting a mentor, an apprenticeship. These are all things that could be on the table. Maybe you're going back into something, and so you get some kind of refresher course. Maybe you haven't been doing it for a couple of years, just to bring you up to snuff on everything that's happening. Indecision may be holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than serving others. And that very much happens in the family setting where everybody was the doctor. So you're at birth, they go, oh, a new doctor just arrived instead of a new child has been born. So, right, and you don't want to be a doctor. You want to be an archaeologist or a painter or a sculptor or a teacher or a firefighter or whatever you want to do out there. For goodness sakes, whatever you want to do. Do tours on the Everglades. Whatever you want to do in the world. And if that is the thing that'll make you happy, then that's the thing that you need to concentrate on, the thing you need to do in order to honor yourself the most. Okay, love and relationships. We have the Devil. Wow. The Devil for love and relationships. We're looking at our joy, we're looking at our happiness. It's what makes us giggle and smile, and the rest we want to crumble and fall away and fall into the fire and turn to ash. This is essentially, I don't know why I laid it down so fast. This is essentially the phoenix rising out of the ashes. You are being, there's a rebirth of you when it comes to relationships and what you want out of the relationship. Maybe you're experiencing more happiness and joy than you have in a while. Maybe there's a few more of those serendipity kind of moments to be had. And you're letting the worry, the concern, all those little things that we argue about, you're kind of letting them go by the wayside. I mean, it doesn't matter if they took out the garbage or not. Once upon a time, when you guys were first dating, maybe they said, oh, I got to take the garbage out. Oh, here, let me do it. And somehow it became your job, and then you stopped doing it. And now you're kind of mad, well, they didn't do it again. I have to do it again. I can't believe it that I'm the one who always take out the garbage. It isn't that way. Have a little bit of communication on it, for goodness sakes. But what happens is we start getting, these little minute arguments that, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, it's not going to matter. For goodness sakes, let it go. It happened. Let's move on from it. I don't have any bumps or bruises. We learned from the experience. Let's move on. Okay? And this is the kind of energy you have within the relationship, that you don't want to be held back. You don't want to be pulled down. You want to feel your love. You want to rejoice in your love, your passion, your desires. That's what I'm getting here. And I think as you go forward in the month, it probably gets stronger and stronger. So towards maybe the end, maybe you'll feel this at the beginning of the week, but I think the end of the week or going into next week would be a lot stronger for this kind of energy for you. We will get another card here. We have the Empress, time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. So this is about, celebrating you in a relationship, knowing that you are a gift, knowing that you are a thing of beauty, one that should be, the Empress, praised, respected, loved, supported. And of course, you're doing those things in the relationship to the other as well. So it only stands to reason that you should be receiving that. So this is growing our relationship stronger, our partnership stronger. This is time for action. So what do you want the relationship to look more like? Then start creating it. Start doing it. You want to go to art museums more? Go to art museums more. You want to go square dancing more? Go square dancing more. Okay? Go out and have joy and fun. I think that's where the energy really is for love and relationships for you this week. But I think it grows stronger as the sun moves into Pisces for you. So I think this is just the beginning of some wonderful times in love and relationships for you. We also have the King of Summer, honorable, devoted, mature, warm-hearted. A romantic partner you can trust. Excellent advice that comes from the heart. Getting involved in a cultural or creative endeavor. So what do you love? What fills your heart with passion? Maybe there's something that is community-minded that you want to join into. It's about a cause or a passion that you hold dear to your heart. Okay? The King of Summer says we will be honorable. We won't try and deceive. We won't try and trick people into doing what we want them to do. But rather they do it because they understand us and love us. Being devoted this week is important. So it's turning your focus and attention, your devotion towards the relationship you want to grow. Mature. I don't know about mature. I think there has to be a little bit of childlike energy in here, but maybe with, a little bit of common sense thrown in for good measure. Warm-hearted. Well, you're warm-hearted anyways, so that's just an easy peasy for you. A romantic partner you can trust. So if you're looking for somebody, you may find and meet somebody that you can trust going forward. Somebody who has your back. Somebody who wants to walk the rest of your steps with you. Excellent advice that comes from the heart. So don't be too quick to judge, especially when you're getting partnership, romance, marriage, counseling, and advice from others, how to do it right, how to be successful. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't just shut it out. There could be little golden nuggets given to you that will save you a lot of energy down the road, perhaps, or just around the next corner. So be open to what is being told to you when it comes from the heart, okay? And getting involved in a cultural or creative endeavor. So that could be, stepping into some kind of passion, right? As you emerge this rebirth of yourself to, be a person within the community, a leader within the community, striving for a justice or to right an injustice. For a cause, for something that you feel deep in your heart that you want to make a change, that you know that you can make a change. Okay, spirituality, we have the Seven of Pentacles. I would think this card, when this card shows up, is, I'd almost watch a movie of yourself, planting the seed and watching the plant grow, knowing that is the symbolism for whatever goal, dream, and desire that you want in your life. See it slowly blossom and bloom into a perfect harvest for yourself. Maybe it's a giant flower. Maybe it is a whole bunch of pumpkins or sunflowers or whatever it might be for you. Okay? It's about seeing that you have the potential to give life to be able to nurture, to be able to grow, to be able to strengthen whatever you want to step into going forward. See yourself almost planting that seed. Okay, I don't know if that's clear as mud. So it's really sitting in quiet contemplation, meditation, and just see yourself taking the seed and planting it. Okay, and whatever you're planting in nature here, whatever plant it is, and pay attention to the plant. Sometimes you go in there and you go, I'm going to do roses, but you don't end up doing roses. You end up doing this mighty oak tree or something instead. And pay attention to what your mind is actually planting the seed for, because it will tell you the characteristics of what you truly want to step into, and so that will change your habits and behaviors in certain ways. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so if it's, you go to plant the mighty oak and it ends up being a willow, well, maybe I need to be more free and go with the flow and bend with the wind instead of trying to stand, so directly against it. So maybe I just need to be a softer approach, and maybe I don't need to be as stern as I'm being or as critical as I'm being, and maybe I can open it up to hear a little bit more. There could be things like that going on, definitely. And we have the Hangman. I think you're kind of taking it back here. I think you're looking at ways that you can change, improve. I really get it with the sense of your routine this week, the mundane, and really bringing the mundane to life by changing your habits, changing your routine, changing the way you do things in order to bring in more harmony, in order to bring in, I don't know. I almost see like you wanting some, like, it could be redecorating or something, and taking this loud space in your house and changing it into this warm, comfortable, giant hug of a room. It's being more in the moment and seeing how you can change things in your life in order to bring in that harmony, and in order to bring in, I don't even get a harmony as much as a structure or a flow or a routine. Okay, let's go to our Circle of Door tarot cards. And we have the Mega of Keys, the Rebel. You feeling a little bit like a rebel? Okay. So this would be like the Queen of Keys. The flame never died. It was always smoldering deep within. She calls us to gather tinder and kindling, dust off the old tales and the sweet dreams. Together we ignite the songs of revolution. She has distilled her creative powers like a fine liqueur, allowing her in turn to discarded raw materials into the transcendent masterpiece. By spending a lifetime of mastering the rules, she has earned the right to break them. She has perfected the powers of reinvention, for she sees the patterns in the chaos and can always make the old new again in her work and in herself. Dig through the discarded piles of your life, transform the memories and artifacts into fresh interpretations, and turn the familiar mundane into a timeless myth. I kid you not, this is your card. To turn the familiar mundane into a timeless myth. My goodness. So ask yourself, what sorts of magic have you kept hidden for too long? What rules of proper behavior do you yearn to break? And how can you teach all of us to see a piece of the world in a whole new light? Your affirmations for this week are: my creativity is like the forest. It feeds and renews itself. I am most powerful when I am most prolific. I never lose track of my really good ideas, and it's never too late for me to start. Okay, we'll get a power thought card here. So yeah, it really is about you transforming those mundane parts of yourself, whether it's a habit, whether it's a behavior, maybe the order, the of things that you do, changing the priority list in some way. I have respect. I have the perfect living space. I see myself living in a wonderful place. It fulfills all my needs and desires. It is a beautiful location and at a price I can afford. Maybe that's something about making that space in your room and or in your house and changing it in some way. Because I see myself living in a wonderful place. Until we meet again, remember, I do love you.